Welcome, and please stand for the national anthem, which will be sung by the choir of the College of Florham, directed by Professor Alan Cohen. Thank you, choir. My name is Sheldon Drucker, and I am the interim president of Fairleigh Dickinson University. I'm delighted to welcome everyone today to be here with us, to honor faculty and staff, and we thank the students, staff, and other administrators and the other faculty who will be guests at this convocation for the year 12-13. It's my pleasure to introduce those members of the platform party who are not active participants in the program. If you could please stand when I call your name. First, the administrators: John Codd, University General Counsel; Hanya Ferrara, Vice President, Finance and Treasurer; Paulette LeBoche, President of the Faculty Senate; Neil Sturm, Vice President and Chief Information Officer; Rick Reese, Senior Vice President for University Advancement; and John Wexler, Vice President for Enrollment Management. With us today are a number of the members of the Board of Trustees: Brenda Blackman, Franklin Jennifer, Stuart Krentzman, Donna Markey, William O'Neill, Ann Petroselli, Robert Pears, Robert Saltarelli, and Mary Kay Stratus. I'd also like to introduce our Deans of Students. Could you please stand and be recognized? Jasmine Farim, Dean of Students at the College of Florham, and Michelle McCroy Hines, Dean of Students at the Metropolitan Campus. I'd also like to recognize the leaders of the student government associations on each campus. They are Dan Palmer, SGA President at the College of Florham. Dan, will you please stand and be recognized? Thank you, Dan. Just tell you a little bit about Dan. Dan is a political science major who spent his summer teaching English in rural China. He's volunteered in Costa Rica, represented the university at the annual United Nations NGO conference in Bonn, Germany. He was recently returned along with the New Jersey Democratic State Committee from the Democratic National Convention in Charlotte, North Carolina. And Anthony Mell, SGA President of the Metropolitan Campus. Anthony? Anthony is a senior majoring in biology and minoring in creative writing. Upon graduation, Anthony plans to attend medical school and pursue a career in neurology. He loves to travel and read, and Anthony is also an avid chess player, plays the piano, plays the harmonica, plays the drums, and the banjo. What is it you don't play? Are there any retired faculty present today? If so, could you please stand, and we'd like to acknowledge you. Thank you. I'll also ask you to acknowledge in absentia the faculty, staff, and students who could not be here today or who are at other campuses, including our campus in Vancouver and at Roxton College. Introduce yourself.
Good afternoon. My name is Christopher Capuano, and I am the University Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs. It is my pleasure to present the deans of our 4 colleges who will introduce their new faculty members. Faculty should stand when their name is announced and remain standing until all names have been announced in their college. I ask the audience to hold its applause until all names are read in a college. First up is Jeffrey Wyman, Dean of the Maxwell Becton College of Arts and Sciences, who will introduce the new faculty in Becton College. Jeff?
Thank you, Chris. It's my pleasure to introduce the following new faculty to the Becton College of Arts and Sciences. Rebecca Chase, Assistant Professor of Creative Writing. Hyung Taek Chun, Lecturer in Sociology. Robert Griffo, Lecturer in Psychology. Kay Wright Lewis, Lecturer in History. Cynthia Lawis, Senior Lecturer in Musical Theater. Brian Olegnowski, Assistant Professor of Biology. Ann Ordway, Instructor in Counseling. Gordon T. Reeves, Assistant Professor in Chemistry. Amy Schlossberg, Assistant Professor in Criminology, and Joaquin Villanova, Instructor in Geography. Welcome. And now, Michael Avoltroni, Interim Dean of the School of Pharmacy, will introduce the new faculty in that school.
Thank you, Jeff. It's my pleasure to introduce the new faculty of the School of Pharmacy, including Marisol Diego, Assistant Professor of Patient Care Sciences, Young Guo, Professor of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Gail Rattinger, Associate Professor of Patient Care Sciences, Anastasia Rivkin, Professor of Patient Care Sciences, Sean Spencer, Associate Professor of Pharmaceutical Sciences, and Ligia Westrich, Assistant Professor of Pharmaceutical Sciences. Welcome to each of you.
Kenneth T. Verkins, Dean of the Anthony J. Petrocelli College of Continuing Studies, will now introduce the new faculty in Petrocelli College. Ken?
Thank you, Chris. Good afternoon. It is a pleasure to welcome the new faculty at the Anthony J. Petrocelli College of Continuing Studies. John Che Kim, Assistant Professor of Sports Administration. Eric Lorenzana, Senior Lecturer in the International School of Hospitality and Tourism Management. At the Fairleigh Dickinson University Vancouver campus, Connie Bygrave, Assistant Professor of Administrative Science, and ultimately an Assistant Professor in Administrative Science, A.J. Garg. Welcome to Fairleigh Dickinson University.
James Almeida, Interim Dean of the Silverman College of Business, will now introduce the new faculty in Silverman College. Jim?
Thank you, Chris. Good afternoon. It is indeed my pleasure to welcome the following faculty to Silverman College of Business: Stephen K. Baer, Instructor of Management; Dr. Yoshiko Dimota, Assistant Professor of Marketing; Dr. Tiffany Hansborough, Assistant Professor of Management; And we also have Jill Reed, Instructor of Marketing, who will be joining the college faculty on our Vancouver campus. Welcome to each and every one of you.
And finally, Patty Mills, Dean of University College, Arts, Sciences, and Professional Studies, will now introduce the new faculty in University College. Patty?
Thank you, Chris. It's my pleasure to introduce the following new faculty to University College. Sameh Abdelazim, Assistant Professor, Electrical Engineering and Engineering Technology. Karen Buzzard, Professor, Communication. Ronald Dalbin, Assistant Professor, Mathematics. Carolyn Garzone, Lecturer, Nursing. Megan Guiney, Clinical Assistant Professor, Psychology. Teresa Moore, Assistant Professor, Nursing. Arthur Zanzari, Lecturer, Nursing. Kathleen Skura, Associate Professor, Nursing. Omar Thomas, Lecturer, Construction Engineering Technology. Mary Elena Vargas, Associate Professor, Nursing. Stephanie Wellen, Clinical Instructor, Nursing. And welcome. Thank you.
Patty, you took the script with you.
Right here.
Without that script, I wouldn't be able to tell you my name is Peter Woolley. I'm professor of comparative politics and serve as provost for the college at Florham, and it is now my honor and pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Professor David Daniel. David Daniel is director of the Bachelor of Arts program in creative writing. Grey Wolf Press published his first full-length collection of poetry in 2004 entitled Seven Star Bird. The volume was awarded the Larry Levis Reading Prize for the best first or second book. The title poem, Seven Star Bird, was reprinted in Harold Bloom's anthology, American Religious Poetry, in 2006. Professor Daniel's poems, essays, and reviews have appeared widely, and his new collection, Ornaments and Other Assorted Love Songs, is forthcoming from Grey Wolf Press. Professor Daniel was also the longtime poetry editor of the influential literary magazine Plowshares, and now serves as co-poetry editor of FDU's excellent international quarterly, The Literary Review. But he may be best known and appreciated as the evil mastermind behind the now annual Wham Fest, or Words and Music Festival, which is a celebration and exploration of the relation between creative writing and the popular arts, bringing together artists from various fields for unique conversations, collaborations, and performances. His recent guests have included Bruce Springsteen, Robert Pinsky, Roseanne Cash, Paul Muldoon, Talib Kweli, Mark Morris, and Eugene Merman. The National Endowment of the Arts has singled out WhamFest for its groundbreaking events. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor David Daniel.
Thank you. I spent 15 years teaching in an institution in Boston that was totally sick. And I don't mean totally sick in the sense my son's telling me that was a totally sick concert, which confuses me a little. But I mean it in the old-fashioned sense of the word, when it meant not well, diseased, dysfunctional, where it was impossible to accomplish anything, and where the community was, to say the least, dispirited. Which is to say, I came here as a cynic. And though what I have to say here today may seem Pollyanna-ish, a word I can use because I'm a poet, I maintain, I hope, a healthy skepticism. But I want to start by saying from the very bottom of my hardened heart that being a part of this university has been one of the great blessings of my life. I'm grateful to FDU, to the late Michael Adams, who was so instrumental in creating the community I came into, to Jeff Weinman, who has from the very first day supported every idea I've brought to him without reservation, no matter how nutty, to Rick Reese and Ken Green and Martin Green and Peter Woolley and Brian Morrow, Teresa Montalbano, Martin Donoff. All these people took me in and just made something that seemed impossible come about. So when I say that this is more than lip service, I'm truly, truly honored to be here, to have my wonderful colleagues and my wonderful students to work with. But please don't be scared when I say that I've written for this occasion a kind of poem, a kind of meditation, one that's doubly scary because it actually has another poem inside the poem. But they're both about breaking down perceived and sometimes real barriers between things and people, and about creating new things in the process. This one is excerpted from Rumi, the 13th century Sufi poet. It's written to his friend and follower Shams, who shows up at the end, and it is, by the way, a song. The elusive ones. They are lovers again, sugar dissolving in milk. Day and night, no difference. The sun is the moon, an amalgam. Excuse me. Their gold and silver melt together. This is the season when the dead branch and the green branch are the same branch. Men and angels speak one language. The elusive ones finally meet. The essence and the evolving forms run to meet each other like children to their father and mother. Good and evil, dead and alive, everything blooms from one natural stem. You know this already. I'll stop. Any direction you turn, it's one vision. Shams, my body is a candle touched with fire. This is a poem about apparent opposites, not really being opposites, but rather complementary aspects of one another. The sun is the moon. It's round, sharing light. Sister and brother may be twins, maybe dream and logic. But the image I want to focus on is the final one. Shams, my body is a candle touched with fire. And for a moment, I want you to think about candles, ones that aren't lit. Think about their clamminess, the cold things that they are. Then think about fire, that spark, that passion, that raging, which is nothing without its tinder, its fuel, its complement. Then think about candles when they're touched with fire, when they scatter their light, a dim but powerful light, a little like moonlight, a light that fills a room, even a dingy one, with grace, something not clammy at all, not dangerous or raging, but beautiful, sensual, meditative. Then look at the candle itself, how it glows from within, as if the fire were inside it, which it is, sort of, beneath the halo of flame and all those colors. Then think of a body, Rumi's and yours and mine, as a candle, and the flame as the spirit that is within us, whatever it is that inspires us. Think of the word spirit, which comes from a combination of breathe and action, the word inspire, the breath it means, the inspiration, pneuma in Greek, pneumatic, the breath, the soul, the essence of life, and also psyche in Greek, breath, soul, and also butterfly, essential. Then think of an institution as a candle, and the people within it, fire. Then think of the words we have as candles, and the music we give them as the fire, the spirit that gives them life, that makes them move us, that inspire us, and then it starts all over again. Whamfest and the spirit behind this creative writing program was born painfully when I was in 3rd grade. Asked to bring in and recite my favorite poem to class, I unwisely, it turns out, chose Eleanor Rigby, which is a song. And I recited it in more or less the same rhythm as the song, Eleanor Rigby sat in a church and was buried. So. This rendition, brilliant, I thought, was greeted with heckling and with the withering derision of some 39-year-olds. I didn't know it then, but I had, along with shame, what we in the literary game call an epiphany. I would devote my life to breaking down barriers between the popular arts and the academic ones, between the town and the gown, between the fancy and the not so fancy, between levels of hierarchy of all kinds, because there's no real difference that matters much, and because the cost is, in one tiny example, that poetry has been taken away from the people and become something vaguely terrifying. It was kind of a joke. I think this is not limited to the arts, but it applies to virtually every field. The original wonder and passion that brought us into our field in the first place is often out of place in the academy. And conversely, outside the academy, what we do seems to have nothing to do with lives being led. WAMFest tries, by bringing seemingly disparate people together, to breathe some of that passion, that inspiration back into the academy, while inviting people outside of it to become a part of it. The ballad Barbara Allen exists in thousands of versions and has been around for 1,000 years or so, maybe much longer. No one wrote it, which is to say, everyone wrote it. How words and music generally have come together may be seen through the lens of emergence theory. Simply put, because I have no choice but to put it simply, since I don't really know about it, emergence theory studies how a lot of really not so smart things are capable of creating really extraordinary, very smart things. The classic example is found in the humble ant, which, it turns out, isn't smart at all, even the queens. Instead, they just do what they do, which is basically seek food and drag their pheromone-laden behinds on the ground as they wander willy-nilly seeking food, then bringing it back home when they happen to stumble on it. Somehow, and no one knows how, these ants, none of them knowing how to build anything, none of them possessing a key or a map or a plan of any sort, there's no one in charge, but somehow they build magnificently elaborate and beautifully efficient structures. But at some level, we do know how they do it. They do it by working together, doing what they do side by side with, I guess, some kind of innate faith that if no one screws it up, they'll do something really great together. This is not to suggest that we are ants, because for one thing, we're much bigger. And because we have at least some sense of what we're doing and why we're doing it. But this is how, at least from a poet's point of view, language was created, and music, and most everything of value that we've built as human beings. WAMFest and the Creative Writing Program have been successful, so far at least, because people, all sorts of people, supported them with encouragement, with money, with work, with love, with a little more money, and it got built somehow. And it's much, much better and more interesting than I ever could have imagined alone. And it's, of course, just one example of what we're all lucky enough to be building here. I wish you a wonderful academic year, some songs singing, some ants building, some words finding music, some music finding words. And may the candles of our lives be touched with fire. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Daniel. And let me pause for a small plug. WAMFest this year will be the third week of October. So we've actually moved it from the spring, Provost Willie has, from the spring term to the fall term. So please look for it. It promises to be good, as it is each year. Okay, I am now pleased to present the recipients of the 2012 Distinguished Faculty Awards, who are being honored for their outstanding achievements and contributions to the university. The recipient of this year's Distinguished Faculty Award for Service is Professor Vicki L. Cohen. Vicki, please come forward. I'm going to read a short citation and then you can speak.
What?
I'm going to read a short citation and then you can speak for a few minutes. Vicki L. Cohen, Professor of Education, Director, Peter Sammartino School of Education. Distinguished Faculty Award for Service. It's easy to make a buck. It's a lot tougher to make a difference, said veteran news anchor Tom Brokaw. Somehow, though, making a difference appears to be effortless for you, Professor Vicki Cohen. With great devotion and diligence, you continually improve the lives of so many in the university community. Since your arrival at FDU in 1991, you've surveyed the academic scene through a wide-angle lens, working to constantly innovate on a large scale. And as one colleague phrased it, you approach every task with a level of motivation and enthusiasm, a high level. One of the biggest projects you have tackled at FDU was securing initial accreditation from the Teacher Education Accreditation Council for programs including Quest, the Master of Arts in Teaching, Teacher of Students with Disabilities, and Educational Leadership. And now, you and your team are working toward full accreditation for the School of Education, which culminates in a site visit next month. Your many other achievements include establishing outcomes-based assessment for the school and being part of the national leadership group developing assessment items for the new K-12 tests, creating the Summer Teaching Academy for high school seniors, launching a program for teaching candidates at Roxton College, coordinating the School of Education Alumni Chapter and the School of Education Advisory Board, and in conjunction with the Record, gathering approximately 200 teachers and educators together for an annual conference. In between changing the world one educator at a time, you've also managed to dedicate yourself to colleagues by serving in the Faculty Senate. Since 2004, you've sat on the Faculty Senate's Academic Policy and Research Committee, assisting with core evaluations and other important matters. From serving on a wide variety of committees to participating in the search for a new University College Dean, to coordinating the Instructional Technology Certificate Program, you have worked to better the university as a whole. And this is to say nothing of the passion you put directly into the classroom. Using hands-on learning and critical thinking techniques, you teach the next generation of teachers how to confront childhood illiteracy, to increase the use of technology in the classroom, and to motivate their future students. For making such a profound difference in and outside the classroom, we gratefully present you with the Distinguished Faculty Award for Service. Congratulations.
Welcome, everybody, and thank you for this very distinguished award. I was told I need to keep the speech to 2 minutes, so what I did was I really tried to divide up who I wanted to thank. The first part I'd like to talk about is the School of Education. And I want to say that although I am receiving this award, it's really my colleagues, whether it be faculty or staff, who work so hard within the School of Education to really serve both campuses and to really produce a quality program. With today's climate in education not being as positive as it is, we work very, very hard, and I just sometimes become very inspired by all of my colleagues, and I'd like to thank them. They do a great job. I'd especially like to thank my Deputy Director, Dan Aronoff, who nominated me and is my partner in crime always, and really supports us and me in the School of Education. I also would like to say that throughout the many years that I've been here, I really feel that mentors are really important, and that for all you faculty who are new, a mentor really helps guide the way. And I've been very fortunate, and what I think I've had two wonderful mentors. One has been Marlene Rosenbaum, and the other has been Mary Farrell. And both have guided me through many, many years and many ups and downs, and I really need to acknowledge them for that and thank them. The second part I'd like to acknowledge is the Senate. And I have to say that I don't think that I'm the hardest working person on the Senate, because I see what especially the executive committee goes through, and there's always a lot of discourse. Sometimes it can get a little bit controversial, but the people on the Senate represent you, the faculty members. And here at Fairleigh Dickinson University, we have a shared governance. And whether or not you think that shared governance works all the time, we have it and we should value it. I've been probably the longest standing member on the APRC, and what's funny is when I was standing online, some faculty members said to me, "Oh, you should get an award for that." And I said, "I am." But I think that we all need to support our faculty senate, and that we need to provide service to our faculty and to our university by showing up at Senate meetings, volunteering for Senate, and really being out there supporting the university. Because really, like we always say, it's the faculty who makes the university so wonderful. And we really do have a wonderful faculty, and we really need to have your help and guidance in that. So I'd like to thank all the senators and the executive committee for really working so hard. I'd also like to thank the administration, my two deans, Patty Mills and Jeffrey Weinman, and my provost and Chris for really supporting me. Lastly, the last 30 seconds or 15 seconds, I'd like to thank my husband, who's here sitting here, because without a doubt, my husband has always supported me. And when I'm ready to quit the Senate and I say, "I've had enough, John, I don't want any more," he says, "Oh, Vicki, it's good for you and it's good for the university. One more year." And I sigh and I say, "Okay, you're right." So I'd like to thank him for all of his help and support throughout the year. So with that in mind, I urge everybody to really go out and provide service and support the university, because it's really what the university supports us, and the faculty is what makes the university. Thank you.
The recipient of this year's Distinguished Faculty Award for Teaching is Professor James A. Doherty. Jim, please come to the podium. James A. Doherty, Associate Professor of Chemistry, Co-Director, School of Natural Sciences, Distinguished Faculty Award for Teaching. The famous chemist Louis Pasteur once said, "Science knows no country, because knowledge belongs to humanity and is the torch that illuminates the world." We in the FDU community today thank you, Professor Doherty, for serving as a torch for our students, guiding them through the borderless world of science and illuminating them on the wonders of chemistry. As the co-director of the School of Natural Sciences since 2007 and a professor at FDU since 1999, you've made chemistry accessible to countless students, and your peer evaluations consistently single you out as a master teacher. How do you get students to not only understand but also enjoy something as demanding as organic chemistry? Perhaps that is one of the biggest mysteries of the scientific world. But what is not a mystery is how students react to taking your classes. They rave. One student wrote that you create a challenging yet encouraging learning environment. She added that she completed her first scientific publication under your tutelage and that you provided guidance and inspiration with such ease. As another student phrased it, Dr. Doherty not only teaches academic lessons inside the classroom, but also teaches life lessons outside the classroom. He taught me the importance of determination and tenacity, and for that, I am forever grateful. Another says that she couldn't understand why her coworkers hated and had such a hard time with organic chemistry. She then realized that her colleagues didn't have what she savors, the pleasure of having been in your class. Because, she explains, some merely taught them the concept rather than applying it too, the way you do it so well. With at least 63 scholarly articles and patents to your name, focusing mostly on vinyl ethers once used in anesthesia, and through teaching polymer chemistry in chemistry labs as well, you've proven yourself as a master of natural science. The ultimate test of a great teacher is the road their students eventually travel. Your students don't settle for second best. They go on to study at places like Columbia University Medical Center. They land important jobs as neonatal clinical pharmacy specialists and as research and development chemists. And they often credit the inspiration you provided. Today is not the first time you have been singled out for your success in the classroom. In 2009, you won the University College Outstanding Teacher Award. And now it gives us great pleasure to honor you with the Distinguished Faculty Award for Teaching. Congratulations.
Wow. After an introduction like that, you're probably expecting something deep and profound. I'm hoping you'll settle for simple and sincere and short. It's a big honor just to be nominated for this award, especially for me. I wanted to teach, I came here to teach, and so for me, this is what it's all about. But looking out here, I see a lot of other distinguished teachers, and I have to admit that part of the reason I'm the one that stands up here is because I happen to teach a subject like organic chemistry. So, notwithstanding that little asterisk which will appear after my name, this award does mean a lot to me, and I think you can appreciate that more if I let you in on a little secret. So just between the 200 of us, when I resigned my previous position in research to come here to teach, I had people tell me, I had friends tell me that I was making a big mistake and I was never going to be able to do this. And it shakes your confidence. The only person whose confidence was never shaken was my best friend, who luckily for me is also my wife. So Ellen, thank you. Also want to thank and appreciate the support of my mom, who's here today, my dad, who'd be here if he could, my children, Emma, Sarah, Catherine, and Jimmy, who endure many evenings hearing, "Shh, Daddy's got to do his homework." So I want to thank them. I thank an administration and the department who has been nothing but supportive. I want to thank all of you for listening, and I'll leave you with one last thought, and that it's never too late to learn some organic chemistry. I teach every Tuesday and Thursday. You're welcome to join me. I'm looking forward to my best semester yet. Thank you.
The recipient of this year's Distinguished Faculty Award for Research and Scholarship is Professor Bruce Peabody. Bruce? Bruce Peabody, Professor of Political Science, Director, Pre-Law and Legal Studies, Florham Institute for Lifelong Learning, Distinguished Faculty Award for Research and Scholarship. A constitutional expert, you surely are aware of the famous quote from Benjamin Franklin, who said, "Our new Constitution is now established and has an appearance that promises permanency. But in this world, nothing can be said to be certain, except death and taxes." At FDU, though, we are certain of more than that. We are certain, for example, that your research in American politics and law will be insightful and engaging, and that your students will greatly benefit from the expertise and influence of an extraordinary scholar. Your key interests include the separation of powers, law and politics, law and popular culture, and constitutional interpretation. As one enthusiastic reviewer put it, your works as such important questions as what constitutional goals are secured by a system of separated powers, and what relationships between governing institutions will best serve those goals. Since coming to FDU in 2000, you have amassed an incredible record of scholarship in your field. This has included 25 original articles published in selective academic and legal journals, 4 book chapters, and more than a dozen encyclopedia entries and book reviews. You also edited the book, The Politics of Judicial Independence, Courts, Politics, and the Public, 2010, which was published by the prestigious Johns Hopkins University Press. One reviewer called it one of the best edited volumes on the judicial system. And now you are working on a manuscript examining American perceptions of heroism and heroes, among other projects. Your work has been referenced and praised by such notables as former President Bill Clinton, former U.S. Senator Arlen Specter, and former Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor. You are that rare intellectual who can transcend the academic circles and influence the public debate. Your columns in forums like the New York Times and the Huffington Post, and in blogs like the Daily Kos, have covered everything from televising the proceedings of the Supreme Court to using popular notions of zombies to guide public policy debates. These same provocative themes come alive in your classroom, where you teach courses such as American Government and Politics, Criminal Justice, the Constitution and American Life, Judicial Politics, and the Supreme Court. Your excellence there has been recognized several times. You have twice received the Outstanding Faculty Member Award from FDU Student Government Association, and you were named Teacher of the Year in Becton College. Today, we proudly add to your growing list of honors and accolades and bestow upon you the Distinguished Faculty Award for Research and Scholarship. Congratulations.
So just to eliminate any confusion, it was Sandra Day O'Connor who was really interested in the zombie work. You should probably know that. So I'd like to start my thank yous in the following way, and that is, I'd like to thank the Academy. And I mean that in a very sincere way. In 1933, a young professor of economics named Fritz Neumark lost his job. He lost his job not because he was a poor teacher. He lost his job not because he had not published enough articles, and he certainly didn't lose his job because he hadn't served on enough prestigious committees. He lost his job because of ethnicity, because of history, and because of politics in its cruelest and most hateful form. Fritz Neumark was Jewish, and he lost his job at the University of Frankfurt and had to flee Nazi Germany in 1933, finding refuge in Turkey at the University of Istanbul. I know Fritz Neumark by other names, including Opa, or grandfather, and without that flight, there are good reasons to believe that neither he, nor my mother, nor I would be alive today. So I'm grateful to the Academy for all sorts of reasons, some of which have been beautifully captured by David Daniel, but certainly for this reason, that I might not be alive without it. I'm also grateful to my colleagues throughout the university, and I thank them. I'm especially thankful for my cohort in the Department of Social Sciences and History. They have been strikingly cantankerous, humorous, and inspiring to me, and they always light a fire under my feet, and sometimes they light that fire dangerously close to packed powder kegs. But I appreciate that. I also want to extend my gratitude, my thanks to my spouse, my beloved Stephanie Lodish, and my 2 children, Isaac and Violet. Sentimentality requires me to share with you that one of Stephanie's rules for a successful relationship is that each party believes it got the better end of the deal. Honesty requires me to tell you this ugly truth: I got the better end of the deal. So, research and scholarship, what's it good for? I'll admit that sometimes when talking to students, sometimes when talking to neighbors, and unfortunately sometimes in talking to folks in the university itself, I encounter some skepticism about all this time we spend on scholarship and research and creative work that we share with others. I think there's 3 ways in which scholarship and research are vital, not just for our indulgent hobbies and self-interest, but for the academy, for the university, and indeed it serves in some ways as the lifeblood of the university. First, I think that scholarship and research develops habits of mind, critical habits of mind, that are essential to getting us to be able to answer tough questions about what we think, what we understand, and what we value. Second, the process of producing, sharing, having work rejected, having work observed elsewhere, brings us into Congress and conversation with individuals at other institutions. I think this is valuable for getting us outside of our comfort zone, for teaching us about new institutions and new ideas, and for exposing us to others. And last, scholarship and research is really an extended exercise in epistemology. How do we know what we know? So in the context of a liberal arts education, in the context of our students' lives, I hope these are valuable, essential skills that we give them for preparing them for life outside of the classroom, preparing them for life in the classroom, and for retooling them and making them think critically about their worlds. More broadly, in the context of a university that faces important questions about its future, about its leadership, about its profile, I think these questions are essential for our longevity, for our relevance, for the years to come. So thank you for this honor, and thank you very much for your time.
Just as we have many faculty who've given years of distinguished service to FDU, we have many staff members who've made outstanding contributions to the success of the university. These pillars of FDU serve with commitment and distinction for 10 years or more. They promote civility on campus. They show unusual concern for the welfare of students, and they serve as role models for their colleagues and students. This award is made to 2 people from each campus each year. I'm now proud to introduce the College of Farm recipients of this award. The first is Shirley Smith, but Shirley cannot be here today. She will be watching the video later, so behave. For more than 20 years, Shirley Smith has provided our community with health care, comfort, and counsel. With calm and compassionate demeanor, she is our primary caregiver, managing a vast array of health services and responding sensitively and urgently when emergencies occur, such as the very serious norovirus outbreak in 2007. Then, as always, Shirley's healing powers rallied us to overcome the challenge. A model professional, Shirley engages the entire campus with programs that promote sound minds in sound bodies. For example, She masterfully organizes the very successful Health and Wellness Fair every year. She also regularly ventures beyond her job description. She knows education is not limited to what happens in the classroom, but involves all the efforts that culminate in a whole person. Her genuine concern for our well-being and her commitment to a healthy university make her a true pillar of FDU. Please show Shirley your appreciation for her dedication. And thank you, Shirley, for your very short acceptance speech. The second recipient from the College of Florham is Glenn Priestmeyer. Glenn, step forward. If he goes down on those stairs, we're all in trouble. Okay. FDU has numerous beacons of justice, but not many have shined as brightly as Glenn Priestmeyer. Glenn has been with the university for 36 years and consistently goes above and beyond the call of duty to enforce a sense of order and reinforce our sense of mission. Always positive, always a role model. Glenn works with student organizations, mentors students, and regularly volunteers with charitable events. Glenn is one of our leaders who helps to cultivate a community that cares, a gentle giant, who never raises his voice. Glenn is particularly skilled at diffusing difficult situations. His coworkers recall numerous times when outraged students or staff stormed the office to complain about something, maybe a ticket, maybe something bigger, but discussing the problem with Glenn, they leave with renewed appreciation for the rules we abide by and a great admiration for an officer who treats everyone with respect and kindness. We share their admiration today and are very pleased to recognize Glenn as a pillar of FDU.
Thank you very much for this wonderful award. I'm thrilled to be here with you today. I would like to extend congratulations to my fellow Pillar Award recipients and the selection team that made it possible. Just a couple of words about public safety. Our motto is working together to make a difference. I'd like to give special thanks and credit to the Board of Trustees, the administration, faculty, and staff for their encouragement, support, and direction in making that difference. By sitting together, working together, and deciding together, we have been able to cultivate the appropriate course of action to meet a variety of campus issues. We are very proud of the low crime rates on the Metro and Florham campuses. Statistics are published each year and speak for themselves. A different class of student has emerged with new social skills, respect for authority, and dedication to studies. I'd like to welcome the incoming freshman class and our returning students and leave you with a quote from J. Michael Adams. The only path to a prosperous future is education. Thank you again for the Pillar Award, and have a great semester. Thank you. Thank you.
Before I continue with the script, I just want to announce that because of a sudden surge in enrollment, the Tuesday-Thursday organic chemistry class has been moved to Wilson Auditorium and will be broadcast to all 4 FDU campuses. Okay, I'm supposed to follow the script, so I'll do my best, and those of you that know me know that I tend to veer off a little bit. So I'll just try and read this to you and stay on target. My name is Joseph Kiernan. I'm the provost of the Metropolitan Campus and a big fan of Peter Woolley. Okay. I get to change it a little bit, so with the commentary that next year I get to write the script, I'd just like to change that a bit. I'm Joseph Kiernan. I'm the provost of the Metropolitan Campus, and I'm a big fan of all of our students, my faculty and staff colleagues, and everyone here and not here who make this such a wonderful and special community to be a part of. So back to the pillars. I'm proud to announce the Metropolitan Campus recipients of the Pillar Awards. First, we have Carol Cusin-Black. Carol? This is very long overdue because I remember Carol back in the Rutherford days. I mean, you've been here a long time. Okay, Carol Black has been part of the fabric of Fairleigh Dickinson University for more than a half century. An undergraduate and graduate student in the late 1950s and 1960s, she excelled as a member of the university's national championship fencing team in 1960. She was inducted into the Division I Athletics Hall of Fame in 2001 as an individual, and in 2004 along with her team. She now is a member of the Hall of Fame committee. Carol began working at the university in 1963 and has served under every FDU president. As the university director of publications, she has chronicled the lives of our campus communities, highlighted our accomplishments, and promoted our programs. She displays an impeccable work ethic and produces a wide range of outstanding pieces. More than 200 annually, ranging from catalogs and course booklets to the commencement program. And when it comes to the course booklets, Carol redoes those every couple of years. And I get these memos from Carol saying the catalog is due to be updated. Please tell the deans. And then I tell the deans, the lady with the swords who's in the Hall of Fame on a national championship fencing team would like these back in 2 weeks. She also does the award-winning internal online newsletter, Inside FDU. Her standards raise the bar, her loyalty is an inspiration, and her devotion defines the essence of an FDU pillar. And if you don't recognize Carol, lots of times she's walking around with this thing that sort of hangs around her neck, because she's the one that's taking pictures all the time. And I don't know who's taking the pictures today with you up here. Anyway, congratulations, Carol, a well-deserved award. Say something.
Thank you very much. It is wonderful to be honored by the university where I've spent so much of my working life. Being a part of this fine institution has been an honor and a privilege. As a history major, I've enjoyed participating in FDU's history. Watching it all happen here has been special. I've seen the Silberman College named, the Rothman Center built, and more recently, the Giovanni Library dedicated and the groundbreaking of the Mumminger Center. I can't begin to thank all the people I've worked with, a very large mix of personalities, and I'm looking forward to working with and assisting more of you. Thank you. I'm not finished. Globally, my experiences have fit right into the mission of the university, from having UN ambassadors as professors when I was a student, to having the opportunity to compete overseas with FDU on my warm-up suit, to traveling to our Roxton College campus as part of the professional development retreat this past summer. What a treat. Every day still offers new experiences, and I'm looking forward to more of what this great university can do. Thank you very much. Oh, I'm gone.
And the second recipient from the Metropolitan Campus is Karen A. Lewis. Karen? It's not fair. I looked for you out here and you're up here. Karen Lewis, Senior Director of Principal Gifts. President Adams often said, "You can change what you can touch." Few staff members have extended their reach as far as Karen Lewis. An FDU graduate, she started working in student affairs in 1995 and was later appointed Director of Residence Life. Stop for a moment. When Karen was Director of Residence Life, we started replacing furniture in the residence halls. Furniture there wasn't in that great a shape because college students tend to do things to it. And I told Karen, find something they can't break. And I got to tell you, you did, because it's 10 years now, and I was down there, the other stuff is still there. I'm not going to lay it down as a challenge to the students to break the unbreakable, but Karen did a wonderful job with that. She then served as Director of Annual Giving, was appointed as the first Assistant Vice President for Alumni Relations and now Senior Director of Principal Gifts. She has excelled in each position, providing great assistance to students, skillfully connecting alumni to FDU, and raising support for her alma mater. Among her many accomplishments include creating the FDU Parents Council, initiating the Senior Class Gift Program, and facilitating the creation of valuable scholarships. But her influence goes further. She is a valued adjunct faculty member who has taught freshman seminar for 17 years. She's a trusted advisor to many clubs and organizations and has served countless committees, not always the easiest ones. And we know her faithful advocacy for employees as president of the Professional Administrative Senate, which is why you were up here instead of down there. Okay. For extending her positive influence to so many, we salute Karen as a pillar of the university. Congratulations.
I'm glad to hear that furniture is holding up. It was quite a task in identifying something that would outlive me here at the university. Provost Kiernan, President Drucker, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, family, and friends. It is an extraordinary honor and privilege to be recognized as a pillar of the university. I would especially like to thank the FDU Pillar members for the opportunity to receive this award. First and foremost, I would like to thank my parents, Doris and Jim, choke up, for all their love and support. They inspired me to pursue my interests and dreams. It is especially humbling to have my accomplishments and work recognized today at Academic Convocation. As a longstanding member of Fairleigh Dickinson University and a graduate of the Rutherford campus, I am very grateful for the chance to give back to an institution that has given me so much and a community that makes me feel like I'm a part of a family. I would also like to congratulate my fellow Pillar members and faculty colleagues for their outstanding work and commitment to our university, and most importantly, to our students, for if it was not for our students, none of us would be here. In closing, I would like to thank every colleague, friend, and family member who has supported me and my journey. I am especially grateful for those of you that joined us this afternoon. Thank you so much for this award.
It's now my honor to continue the tradition started by the late President J. Michael Adams and award a presidential citation to an outstanding individual who has successfully initiated an innovative program or process that advances our institution's mission and provides our students with new opportunities to succeed. The awardee for this year's presidential citation is Carol Creekmore. Carol, will you please join me? Henry Ford once wrote, "Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success." Carol, your career at FDU has well followed this formula, and your leadership in building strong teams to meet new demands has greatly improved our university. You joined the university in 1993 and quickly became one of the most valuable members of the community. Among other accomplishments, you combined the offices of the bursar and the registrar, led the transition to the Datatel computer network, and implemented our online registration and grading systems. Your contributions to the character and quality of our institution was honored in 2006 when you were named one of the pillars of FDU. And in 2012, you were among the first recipients of the Office of Student Life's Martin Luther King Jr. Award. Over the last 2 years, you have led a university-wide initiative to implement Degree Audit, an online check sheet that quickly enables students to see anytime and anywhere their progress towards graduation and the remaining requirements. In this tremendous effort, you brought together representatives from all the colleges and all the vital areas of the university. You inspired changes in behavior and processes that are producing immeasurable benefits for both students and their advisors. The complex task required a significant programming effort, training advisors and personnel to use and maintain the system, communicating between academic units and enrollment services, testing the system, and many other activities. You jumped in and took responsibility for oversight and maintenance. You secured the commitment and support of the academic units. You ran focus groups with students to ensure the best possible service. You fostered its adoption across the board and created a system for updating the check sheets for every program. The result today is that Degree Audit is now available for more than 100 educational programs across the 4 colleges. For your continued excellence and for your leadership in implementing this critical initiative, I'm privileged today to present you with this presidential citation.
I must say this is overwhelming getting this award. Thank you so much, Shelley, for this honor. It's truly appreciated coming from an individual at this university who I've respected and admired for many, many years. We are so lucky to have Shelley here at FDU. Coming to FDU 19 years ago was probably the best professional decision I ever made. I have had many challenges and opportunities, but I've had the opportunity to meet with and work with the best professionals at any institution at any given time. I've often said that to my staff. Once in a while, you'll come across a great administrator at an institution, but there may be 1 or 2. But we have so many here at FDU that have made this university such a success. I'd especially like to mention, in addition to President Drucker, Hanya Ferrara, Joe Kiernan, Dr. Capuano, just to mention a few. I would also like to mention my staff. My staff, they report to me, they work for me, but they also work for all of you. I happen to have 40 employees, so there's too many to name, but I know that you know who they are because you work with them every day. They're competent, they're diligent, they're problem solvers, You all know, you just call my office and my staff will get the problem resolved. I would not be standing up here today if it were not for them. I truly believe that we have a special bond and affinity here at FDU, and that's fostered by individuals such as Shelley Drucker. If you want to know what I mean, all you have to do is take a trip to Roxton with him, and you'll see for yourself. You make it a wonderful trip, Shelley, and something that we'll never forget. Thank you so much for this honor.
I'm now proud to present the 2012 Presidential Medal to an individual who has shown extraordinary support and dedication to Fairleigh Dickinson University. Will Evelyn Katz please step forward? It takes many special people to run a great university. It takes faculty who share their wisdom. It takes staff members who support student services and all the operations. It takes alumni who act as role models and pass on traditions. But most of all, it takes people who care deeply about the mission, the history, and the future of our great university. I'm very pleased today to honor a special person who's not a faculty member, not a staff member, nor an alumni. But she has the passion for FDU that has driven her to be an active presence on campus for the last 2 decades. She simply cares enough about FDU to make it an important part of her life, and we are forever in her debt. An educator and archivist, Evelyn Katz was introduced to FDU through the Educational Program for Older Citizens, now the Florham Institute of Lifelong Learning. She and her husband, Jack, began taking courses and met former library director James Frazier. He invited Evelyn to volunteer as a curator and archivist. She dove in, loved it, and quickly became a beloved unofficial library staff member. Among her many important accomplishments, Evelyn organized the San Martino Archive, the New York Cultural Center Archive, and the Archive for the International Association of University Presidents, which was founded by Peter Sammartino and also led by J. Michael Adams. She has also assisted researchers from near and far for retrieving archival documents, and all the time she represented our university with the utmost grace, class, and dignity. Before Jack passed away, he would accompany Evelyn and help her organize the library's financial literature. They were part of the library family and regularly participated in library events. Actually, Evelyn's archival work at FDU became something of a Katz family affair, as she often brought her 3 young grandsons with her to the library when they were all ready to give a hand. For making FDU part of your family, Evelyn, and for so faithfully serving our community these past 20 years, I'm proud to bestow on you our Presidential Medal.
When President, when President Drucker told me that I was getting a medal from Fairleigh Dickinson University, I said that it is I who should be giving FDU a medal for many interesting and enjoyable years. I have worked on archives for other institutions in other cities, but those of Fairleigh Dickinson University have given me the most pleasure because they belong to Peter Sammartino, a most remarkable man. I do want now to thank Dr. James Fraser, former director of the library, where the archives are kept, and I would also like to thank Mariah Webb, now director, and her wonderful staff. The archives are not musty old papers gathering dust. Students come from all over the world who are working on theses, found out through the internet that much of interest is available to them. I would additionally like to honor my husband, Lieutenant Colonel Jacob J. Katz, who died 9 years ago. He not only worked on Peter's financial papers, but also kept in order all the financial papers that come into the library and gave financial advice when needed. So it is I who should be giving a medal to Fairleigh Dickinson University for providing me with a lengthy, fascinating, and thoroughly wonderful experience. Thank you.
So the citations have been read, words of praise and thanks have been said, and I'll thank you all for coming to the 2012-2013 Convocation of faculty, staff, and students. After we recess, please join us for a reception on the beautiful veranda that was built for Hamilton Twombly and Florence Vanderbilt overlooking the gardens, and which we now have the pleasure to enjoy. Have a great academic year, and if you can, stay seated until this platform party and the faculty have exited the room. Thanks very much.